Welcome to the LOE report. So here's the latest installment from the Trump administration. Like, how stupid do they think we are? The government is shutting down in 4 days. Trump cancels his meeting with Democrats to avoid unproductive talks. And then he does this. And nobody really minds a flyover, but at a golf tournament, I don't know. But everybody kind of liked it. But that's neither here nor there. While federal workers are finding out if they're getting fired, that's what he's doing. Because his administration just sent a memo telling federal agencies to prepare for mass permanent firings during the shutdown, not furloughs, firings. So let me get this straight. He's using a government shutdown that he's causing by refusing to meet with the Democrats to permanently fire thousands more people in this economy. So let's talk about what Trump did on Friday, September 26th. Government shutdown deadline, September 30th at midnight, 4 days away. Trump has canceled his scheduled meeting with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, called their demands unserious and ridiculous. And what does he do instead? I already told you. He boards Air Force One with his granddaughter at 10 a.m. in the morning. And at 11 a.m., Air Force One does a dramatic flyover of the Ryder Cup. So low, you could almost hit it with a wedge. Maybe not my wedge, but maybe one of those guys. The crowd loses their minds. He told reporters, I heard Team USA wasn't doing well, and I've already negotiated 7 wars, so I might as well just get on a plane and have to fly and help them. Team USA had already lost matches that day. It didn't help. They lost the Ryder Cup anyway, and this is not how we want our president spending his time while the whole nation burns. In fact, Team Europe trolled him in their victory celebration, and they filmed themselves holding the trophy chanting,
Are you watching Are you watching Donald Trump? Are you watching Donald Trump?
Are you watching? Are you watching Donald Trump? So Trump flies up there, disrupts the entire event with TSA level security. Then he sits behind bulletproof glass for 3.5 hours. Team USA loses, and then the Europeans mock him to his face. So great job, Mr. President. Really inspiring the troops there. But here's what really pisses me off. While Trump was watching golf, Hakeem Jeffries on Capitol Hill is furious. Jeffries said this.
The off ramp, here's the off ramp. Donald Trump, get back to Washington, D.C. Why are you at a golf event right now and the government is 4 days away from closing? That's outrageous. And it speaks to the fact that these people, these extremists, they could care less about the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people. They could care less. They're on vacation right now.
And the White House response, the only person Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats can blame for a government shutdown is themselves. Trump cancels the meeting. Trump flies to golf. Trump refuses to negotiate, but it's Democrats' fault. How stupid do they think we are? Okay, so the golf trip is bad, but that's, Trump being Trump. But here's where it goes from typical political theater to actively weaponizing government collapse. So on Wednesday, September 25th, the Office of Management and Budget sent this memo to every federal agency, and this memo is unprecedented. The memo directs agency to prepare for reduction in force or RFI notices. Russ Vought has been planning this the whole time. Read Project 2025. He has already told us what he's going to do. So the Democrats should be able to fight something when you hand them the playbook. Get up, Democrats, do something. Make me cough. So people are going to get permanently fired if they shut it down. And you know what's going to happen if they keep letting it run. So it's kind of a no-win for Democrats at this point. But I say shut it down. We have to regroup. And again, going back to the quote, we're going to cut a lot of people that we're able to cut on a permanent basis. Can't even talk. I can't even repeat his sentences. He added, I'd rather not do that. Sounds like another mafia boss type thing. So, you'd rather not permanently fire thousands of federal workers during the shutdown that you're causing by refusing to negotiate? How generous of you, Supreme Leader. So let me be very clear about what's happening. Trump is planning to use a government shutdown as an opportunity to purge the federal workforce. The memo says target programs that did not benefit from an infusion of mandatory appropriations. Who's deciding if it benefited? There is no oversight in this government, by the way. So, translation, any program that needs annual congressional funding could see its workforce gutted. This isn't about efficiency. This isn't about cutting waste. This is about using a crisis that Trump is creating based on the job he's done over the last 8 months to fire people whose jobs he doesn't like. Like, 90% of the Consumer Protection Bureau that protects people. Yeah, let's go government, go stock market, and we're all going to get screwed. And the OMB memo has the audacity to blame Democrats, saying they're pushing for a shutdown over a series of insane demands, including $1 trillion in new spending. So we'll get to what Democrats actually want in a minute. Spoiler alert, it is not $1 trillion. So let's cut through the bullshit and talk about what's actually at stake here, because both sides are screaming at each other and regular people are getting caught in the middle. The government runs out of money September 30th at midnight. That's the deadline. To avoid a shutdown, Congress needs to pass either a full-year funding bill or a short-term extension called a continuing resolution. Boring. Where Republicans, they want a clean CR that funds the government through November 20th. No add-ons, no policy changes. Just keep this shit train rolling, I guess. Democrats say, fine, we'll vote for that. But we want something back that the whole country is screaming about. We want the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits. They want to negotiate a little bit on all the ridiculous amount of cuts they made to Medicare, Medicaid, giving all the money to the rich. Nobody likes this bill, and they're celebrating it, trying to stuff it down our throats like we're going to eat it. So these are subsidies that help millions of Americans, and if they expire, they're already telling us that the premiums are going to increase. So the premiums are going to increase whether they roll it back or not. But let's get it less increase. So Democrats are saying, let's fix this now while we're doing the funding bill. Republicans, no, pass the CR first, then we'll talk about ACA subsidies later. And Democrats are like, yeah, we've heard that. Definitely heard that before, especially this last 8 months of complete, absolute rule breaking, law breaking, amendment breaking. So they're saying, like, once the government's funded, you'll have zero incentive to negotiate, just like they haven't had any up until now. And honestly, I don't blame them, because here's the thing. In the Senate, you need 60 votes, and there's only 53 Republicans. So Republicans will need 7 Democrats to jump over the fence. And what does Trump do with Democrats having all this leverage? He cancels the meeting with Schumer and Jeffries and calls their demands unserious and ridiculous, then flies off to Long Island for 3.5 hours of golf. Now, Trump finally agreed to meet with them today, with 2 days before the deadline. Speaker Mike Johnson said Trump wants to convince them to follow common sense. Convince them. Not negotiate, convince them. Yeah, that sounds like a good faith effort, to compromise. So let's talk about what the White House keeps saying versus what's actually true. The White House says Democrats want $1 trillion in new spending and free health care for illegal aliens. That's bullshit. Democrats want to extend the ACM premium tax credits. The cost is only $35 billion per year, so $350 over the next 10. Not $1 trillion, not even close. And these subsidies do not go to illegal aliens. They go to American citizens who buy health insurance on the exchanges. Middle-class families, small business owners, freelancers, people who don't get insurance through their employer. The subsidies make their premiums actually affordable. And here's why Democrats are fighting for this now. So earlier this year, Trump passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And he's actually changing the name because now people already hate it. So thinks a name change, rebrand will do it. It's worked for 4, I guess. So that bill gut Medicaid. It made it harder for people who qualify for coverage. It rolled back healthcare protection. So Democrats are saying, you just slashed healthcare for millions of people. The least you can do is extend these subsidies so people can afford their premiums coming up. And Republicans, nah. We'll think about it later, maybe, if we feel like it. And this is what Republicans are calling insane demands and unserious and ridiculous, helping people afford health insurance. Let's talk about what shutdown actually costs, because it isn't just politics. Like, these are real consequences for real people. So according to EY Parthenon, every week of a shutdown costs the U.S. economy about $7 billion. $7 billion per week when the government shuts down. So food safety inspections stop, immigration courts close, small business loans delayed, national parks closed, federal lending frozen. But here's the one that really matters right now. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is supposed to release the September jobs report on October 3rd. That's next week. The Federal Reserve needs that data to make decisions about interest rates. Your rates affect your mortgage, our car loans, our credit cards, our savings. The Fed's next meeting is October 29th. They're trying to figure out, if they should cut the rates again or hold steady. So Trump's totally on board with costing the economy $7 billion more a week, delay critical economic data, permanently fire thousands of workers because he doesn't want to negotiate in health subsidies that help Americans. And instead of staying in Washington to work on this, he spent Friday watching golf. So let me tell you what should happen. One, Trump should sit down with Schumer and Jeffries and actually negotiate, not convince, not make them see reason, negotiate, give something, get something, reach a compromise. I know, revolutionary concept. Two, Republicans have to stop pretending extending healthcare subsidy is some radical demand. It's not. It helps people afford insurance. That's it. Three, Democrats should make crystal clear what they need and what they'll compromise on. Four, the White House should immediately rescind that OMB memo about mass firings. Shutdowns are not opportunities to purge the workforce. They're not weapons against opponents. They're failures of governance that hurt real people. There are hundreds of thousands of federal workers who don't know if they're getting paid next week. There are millions of Americans who don't know if their health insurance premiums are about to skyrocket. And the President of the United States spent Friday at the golf tournament. So the government is about to shut down. Trump met with congressional leaders today, and if history is any guide, they'll probably kick the can down the road with some last-minute deal. Or, we'll actually shut down. Trump will use it to fire workers, and both sides will blame each other while real people suffer. So one way or another, remember this. When Trump says he had to fly to New York to give the Ryder Cup team a pep talk, remember, he couldn't find time to meet with Democratic leaders to prevent a shutdown. When Republicans say Democrats are being unreasonable, remember, Democrats just want to help people afford the health insurance. And when someone tries to tell you this is normal political dysfunction, remember, Trump's administration sent a memo to prepare for mass permanent layoffs. This isn't normal, has never been normal, and we shouldn't pretend it is. Again, how stupid do they think we are? This is Lies of the Orange Era. I'll catch you next time.